Let's see if my technology cooperates. Everything I own has been malfunctioning. It's uncanny.
Right, turn left.
It's uncanny. I use a certain amount of technology for my job and all of it failed me today. My cell phone didn't work 2 days ago. It's crazy. And this video keeps stopping. So I've had just a very interesting quantity of eclectic interactions lately with the people that I've been meeting and talking with. Really interesting. In fact, several of my recent customers for my job have been like government employees with high level knowledge that is secretive, and they've shared it with me, and it's fascinating.
Turn left onto Washington Road.
Fascinating. Sorry about the GPS in the background. And then another woman who I worked with yesterday, she owned an African gray parrot that was 23 years old, named Roscoe. And I've always wanted a rose-breasted galah. They're native from Australia, but they're beautiful pink birds. And if you have watched my videos, you know I really am obsessed with my pets. I have a really strong affinity for developing like the telepathic connection through animal training. I actually was telling my father this the other day. I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, I think my retirement gig when I turn like 60 is I'll open up like a psychic animal training thing. And the woman was giving me a pretty big reality check about the issues that come with having a bird. I mean, it's a huge commitment because they live for so long, but they're so particular and they're so intelligent. Like the carbon monoxide detector was going off like beep, every now and then, and the parrot would just mimic the noise, and I was like, this is overstimulating. Is that the bird, or like can we get that to stop? It's just like lots of beeping, and it was fascinating. She said, Roscoe, what happens when you fall? And the bird goes, and it's like grooving its head when it's doing it. It's so funny. Yeah.
10 miles, turn right.
What else did I want to share? It's a full moon today. I can't wait to see it. It was snowing this morning. And I have driven like 200 miles today. It's insane. I'm so doing a lot recently. Can't wait to have a few days to myself. I'm going to do a longer reading tomorrow for the full moon. But it's absolutely blue sky beautiful now, and so I'll be able to see the moon. In fact, I have a feeling I can see it already. Where is it? Like the white daytime moon. It's gonna look beautiful. I hope that everybody has some way to observe the full moon this evening. I would recommend, if you have anything, this is a very potent, powerful full moon, and if you have special objects, like for me, I would consider all the crystals in my home, my Palo Santo, my sage, my blue sage, my white sage, my cedar bundles. So those herbs that I burn for like smudging and clearing energy, as well as the Palo Santo wood, the holy wood. I have holy water, those spiritual tools. I put them outside under a full moon. I haven't done that for several cycles, but I'm being very guided to do that. And when my spirit guides urge me to do something like that, I take it very seriously because I'm very intuitively led, but I'm also like, ugh, I don't want to do that because I use tiny stones of selenite to like grid the four corners of my bedroom, of my actual physical bed frame. Lots of energetic protection within the home. And I've mentioned this in the past, but I had sort of an insight revelation about giving a little bit of a presentation really on feng shui and bagua and energy movement in the home, and explaining that with a house tour. I just think that would be super fun. And obviously, because I work with interior spaces and I'm an artist, I've really enjoyed creating my apartment the way that I have. It's super reflective of my personality and my aesthetic preferences. So I'd love to go into that, but just a recommendation for anybody out there to put items out to be supercharged and fortified by the light and the energy of the full moon. I went out to basically like a big dance party last night, an ABBA themed like 70s, 80s music disco, and I haven't been out in a very long time, and I'm pretty much sober at this point. That's been like a incredibly healthy, happy, positive transition for me. I'm not exclusively sober because just my family. Oh no, she's running a red light. Yep, don't watch, nobody look. Okay, nope, we're good. I'm a good driver, I'm very safe. Completely lost my train of thought though. Oh yeah, went out and just, I have had periods of like long sobriety, and then have had a very hard time in my life with moderation, but throughout my healing I'm not struggling with that anymore, which is fascinating. And I will tell you that at the quantum hypnotherapy healing session, that license plate says I'm boring. Okay. I've developed a much easier time. I don't have like the craving for alcohol that I used to, and that's major because I didn't do anything to release myself of it. I worked with the practitioner to talk about my vices, and I talked about nicotine, talked about alcohol with her and other substances, and established what it was essential for me to cut out. And my spirit guides during that session, my higher self, my intuition, what came through that channeling was, there's no, like, alcohol serves no benefit to me or my system whatsoever. It does not. And that resonated with me, especially because like I re-listened to that session. I was conscious the whole time, but I didn't remember, all the information. So when I re-listened to it, I was like, that makes sense to me. And ever since then, it was like, a curse was lifted or something, and I was able to just refrain so much more easily. So when I do drink, I've talked about this before, but like energetically, if anybody drinks, there's a reason why when people talk about like getting blacked out and stuff, you act in ways that are not intrinsic or true to the core of your personality. And there's, theories around that, like dark energies latching on to people because you sort of become an empty vessel, and act in ways that are not aligned with what you would do if you, a lot of things I've done that I super duper regret. Everything happens for a reason, but I have made a lot of mistakes like that and done things that are like not who I want to represent myself as. But anyway, all in good fun. I chose to have some drinks last night, and it was a fabulous time. But I told my friend beforehand, I was like, I almost have social anxiety around the prospect of being in a crowd of people. I don't know if I want to be like observed and witnessed by so many people. And it was really overstimulating, but it was very fun. And I brought a howlite crystal, a malachite, a black tourmaline, a selenite, and I had them like dispersed on either side of my body in my pockets. And at one point, this is just kind of fascinating, I noticed that a girl was filming me with her phone, and I sort of like looked at her. I was dancing, having a great time, and she noticed that I had noticed, so she acted like she wasn't. She tried to hide it. And I just, it's interesting. I've existed in my life with a very high level of paranoia that borderlines on like schizophrenia. And I don't talk about that because I know that it's irrational. But if you are in the Lightworker Starseed community, you know that there's levels of paranoia that you have probably grown up with around certain things that actually aren't unfounded, but they're very hard to understand if you don't like live with the, like I've talked about for my whole life, I've had a deep fear of extraterrestrial beings or being observed and watched. A lot of that has to do with the fact that when I was growing up in Vermont, there were and there are like ships, right? You might not always see them, but they're around. And I did see those when I was a kid, and I was very aware of just like at nighttime being observed in my bed and feeling like I could be taken at any minute. That was something that I struggled with as a child. And just the it's fascinating to be, like when we talk about self-confidence or like self-consciousness, there's like a dichotomy around like everybody's paying attention. There's memes about this, like I don't know, somebody like me thinking that I'm the main character and everybody's staring at me, you know, or thinking you don't matter at all, like these extremes. I know I'm not the center of the universe, but the fact of the matter is that like my friends and I drew a lot of attention. It was kind of intense. And that's not the first time I've caught somebody taking a video of me before. The last time was like I don't know, maybe a couple years ago. I was out and I was dancing, and it was a dude, probably like 45 years old, and I saw it out of my periphery, looked over at him, he looked at me, saw that I saw, and he acted like it didn't happen. He like sort of like lowered his phone and like looked around, and like I stared at him. This has happened several times. So I typically, if it's a man, I'll look at him, and then they give it about, you know, maybe it takes like 10 seconds, maybe it takes like 45 seconds, but they'll kind of check back in and they'll look back at me to see if I'm still looking. And I do like to just wait until they're ready to look back at me, and I'm still staring at them because that's not very comfortable for them. But what I'm doing is I'm just mirroring back the way that they're observing me, you know, kind of like without my consent. Like, I mean, I guess it's public, you can do whatever you want. I don't know what you're gonna do with that video later, my guy, but you're welcome to take it, I guess. It's just a strange dynamic, you know? So I just sort of, not in like a confrontational way, but a way that I think is fair, given the situation, I allow them to witness how it feels to be like stared at like that. And they just have to kind of come to terms with it in their own discomfort in that moment. I think that's fine. I'm not trying to, it's not like a power move type thing. I'm just trying to hold my own, right? Because I didn't get to decide whether, like, he didn't ask me, you know? So it's just interesting because I was feeling like this weird feeling inside of me before the event, like I was already overstimulated by the prospect of being like in a space, you know, and that's just got so many people in it. I tend to avoid very large public spaces, especially, I mean, not to live out of fear, but in general, if we think about like even the Kansas City Chiefs shootings and stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff that happens in these large public spaces. And there's a lot of energetic weirdness that can happen in public spaces. Like, I often find that people are not necessarily always like the happiest, you know, out and about. People are, in general, sometimes not happy people, who knows, you know, or they have their own insecurities and their own demons and battles that they're fighting and struggling to work through, or they're avoidant and they're not struggling to work through it. They're just projecting their shit and living in an unhealed state. But I think that sometimes if somebody sees like some young, pretty women enjoying themselves and having a great time, it's like that thing where people are like, I don't know if it's envy or jealousy or just the discomfort of feeling like, it's like people don't want other people to be happy if they're not happy, you know, they want to bring you down to their level a little bit. So there was some strange animosity a little bit, but I come from a place of love, and I try to meet the animosity in any situation with a diffusing energy that's not going to allow it. Like, I don't take things super personally because I feel pretty secure in myself and like what I choose to do. And I do make mistakes and I try to own up to those. Sometimes that can be hard to do for anybody, but that's all you can do, right? I don't believe in trying to hide or, you know, sweep things under the rug or pretend like you didn't mess up, because that's really only hurting you and you're not going to learn, right? Universe is like, it's okay, baby doll. You just have to be honest with yourself, and therefore, you know, allow yourself to be honest with your life and other people around you. But so I was like on my way to the bathroom, moving through the crowd, sort of dancing while I was moving. And I had a drink in my hand and I didn't have a lid on it. It was a cup. And I ran up the stairs with my cup for some reason and sloshed it a little bit, and a tiny little bit just kind of hit this girl. It got on her outfit. And I noticed it, but I was moving up the stairs so quickly. So I stopped and I went back to her and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Did I just spill this on you?" And she was like, yeah. And she was like looking down, like really pissed off. And like, it honestly wasn't that much. It wasn't that much. It was like a little bit of a droplet spray. But she was really irritated with me. And like, I was like, "I'm so sorry." And I like didn't have anything to like dab her off or anything. And she was, I was like, I didn't know what to say. So I was like, I guess there's nothing else I can do for you at this point. And she was like, no. And I ran away. Weird moment. And I felt really badly, but it was just an honest mistake, you know? But I think like energetically, the vibe I got off of her was like, this bitch thinks she's the fucking queen of the world and can just run past people and spill her drink. And that's not how I feel about myself. She didn't look very happy, you know? She was clogging up the stairwell. She wasn't dancing. She was all by herself. I don't know if she was fighting with her boyfriend or he was getting a drink or who knows what was going on, you know? But we were just in very different energetic spaces. And sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. If someone else is not in a good place, then there's no good to come from that interaction, regardless of how well-intentioned you are. And I'm not saying that was a good interaction. I fucked up. That was a mistake. I felt badly. I honestly, like, I looked at her and I was like, I don't know what else to do for you. Oh, it was kind of an asshole thing to say. I shouldn't have said that probably. But I genuinely felt that way. I was like looking for something to do to assist. But then, honestly, if that had happened to me, I would have been like, no worries, baby doll. I don't know why I keep saying baby doll. I never say that. If someone else says the term of endearment, baby doll, then perhaps this message is resonating with you, because I don't say that on a regular basis. But yeah. I was also like with my friend, I was like, oh, this event is literally the night before the full moon. That's a gamble. I don't know if I feel comfortable going out, because like they put more policemen out on the streets under full moons. There's documented levels of rise in crime, rise in suicide. And fascinating, a gentleman I work alongside used to be the manager of Radio Shack, and he said that they had the most returns. The most people brought back their purchases during full moons. And I did a couple projects in the past when I was at Carnegie Mellon around tracking the moon cycles and a number of things, data points. Like I was big into nicotine vaping. I'm back on cigarettes now. I'm really trying to wean myself off of nicotine altogether, but just so people know, tobacco and nicotine in small doses is correlated to improved neurofunctioning and focus, which makes it harder to quit because I find it to be valuable and assistive. But anyway, I was vaping and I was noticing that there was a correlation between the moon cycle and how many cartridges I went through, which was interesting. So yeah, mixed messages in here today. I guess
turn right.
Started talking about birds and, well, pets really. I posted that short with my dog and my cat because we are like a very vocal little triad. They're very, very vocal and communicative, and my dog, in addition to like his barks and his he's just very emotive and expressive. His ears are like his eyebrows, you know, his ears indicate emotion, and he does blinks, like affirmative blinks. If I tell him I love him, he'll blink back at me, or he'll say it with 3 barks, I love you. Sometimes he can actually pronounce the sounds, I love you. I have a cute video of that. I should repost that. That's from a few years back. But anyway, I have been in the car forever today, and I just wanted to record a video to offload some of my very interesting thoughts. So, well, I think they're interesting. I'm mulling over a lot of stuff today. Yeah, last note that I will share is that, like, look, you can see it's completely, totally blue skied out here. This morning it was blizzarding. So weather is energy. Lightning, wind, rain, elemental energy. Angels and non-physical entities can come through this web of life, our energetic matrix. They can present in elementals. They can take because they are non-physical, they can choose to come through in physical ways. This is why signs from angels can come through like animal totems and animal spirits, right? Or deceased loved ones. Like I have a great aunt who has passed away, and I see her spirit in cardinals sometimes. And when she was living, I didn't know that she had a connection to the cardinal or anything, but like, that's just how I feel about that. I know that that's actually common, and other people in my life have said that cardinals remind them of deceased loved ones, but I just want to point out the fact that the weather did a total 180, right? Blurry, snow, not blurry, what am I saying? Flurry. Blizzarding flurry to total blue sky sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. That's a huge energetic shift. So the energy is moving really quickly right now, and we can see it in a variety of ways. Another thing that I will attribute to fast moving, like intense energetic cycles is the malfunctioning of the technology. I don't, license plates crack me up. I don't know if that was just me. I mean, I know it wasn't just me because there was a national outage for a short period of time. But like today, using other devices, like for example, I have a laser that helps me measure like floor plans and interior spaces. I can do it very quickly. I can stand in one location. I can stand in the corner of a room, shoot the laser that way, round it off, right? If it's a square, just measure a whole room in 30 seconds, no problem. But
then arrive at your destination.
Oh great, I'm arriving at my destination. When the laser doesn't work, I have to use a tape measure, and it didn't work, and I had to do that today, and that was makes my job a lot harder. I'm not even that good at it because I don't have to do it so often. And just in a situation where I need to maintain control, make sure I'm doing what I'm doing well and appearing professional and stuff. It just takes longer, requires a different skill set. And then of course you have to be very, just remain cordial and attentive to the people that you're helping. And sometimes people, they're like wanting to ask you tons of questions while you're doing what it is you're doing, and you have to multitask, and it's that can be a challenge. So yeah, like my day got delayed because my appointment ran long because I didn't have my laser, and then my software wasn't working. It was just like one thing after the other. And I'm going to have dinner with my family, some of my family members who are in town at this time, this evening. And I'm like, this has just been one thing after another today. And I was on the phone with my dad, and he's like, you need to take a deep breath. And I was like, I know, I'm about to do that. I'm about to drive and take some deep breaths, and I can't wait to get off the phone with you so that I can do that. I love you, Dad. You know that I do, but like, it's fascinating how we can be in the house, we can be alone. You see the walls, you see your furniture, you see the TV, whatever it is you're looking at. But on any given day, like the amount of imagery that has flashed before my eyes today since last night, my last 48 hours, the amount of things I've heard, the amount of faces, individual faces that I've seen, it's a huge uptick from what I'm used to, because I have been in somewhat of a hermit energy for a little bit. I obviously do stay connected to people I care about regularly. I'm never completely isolated from anybody. I think it's important to have confidants and people who you love and trust and support, and they support you. And I'm super, super lucky and blessed and grateful that I've allowed my friends and connections to naturally evolve over time to the point where they are now. I haven't fought for friendships that fizzled out if they did not feel mutually beneficial, right? Or like truly positive, like they were adding something to my life. I think it's interesting, like sometimes we forget that it's not like it's not personal. Of course that stuff is personal, but it's also sort of matter of fact. If two people aren't cut out to be good friends because of their differences or their level of healedness or their choices around how they like to spend their time, then that's just a fact, right? It doesn't have to be a negative thing. A lot of the times I think, and this applies to like breakups too, or like resonating out of alignment with people that you used to date or whatever, like it's really hard to separate from people or let our relationships evolve without people's feelings being affected. And that, I think that's unavoidable, but at the same time, it's like, I wonder if we can start to, in a healing space, kind of evolve our way of handling each other and handle people with care, and understand that like it's okay to have, like, it's so hard to tell somebody, like, for instance, if you fell out of love. I've had to tell people that before, and it's really, really hard because it's deeply hurtful. But if it's true, then you have to share that, because that's the truth. You know, it's fascinating what we do to tiptoe around other people's emotions and keep them emotionally safe and compromise our own emotions as a result of that. So yeah, lots of thoughts, lots of energy today. What else? I've been getting synchronicities. Oh, I had a song. I'll try to sing it. My voice is a little hoarse because I was screaming my head off to Bohemian Rhapsody last night. This is a song called Way Back Into Love, and it's from the movie Music and Lyrics with Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant. And it goes, I've been living with a shadow overhead. I've been sleeping with a cloud above my bed. I've been lonely for so long. Trapped in the past, I just can't seem to move on. I've been hiding all my hopes and dreams away, just in case I ever need them again someday. I've been setting aside time to clear a little space in the corners of my mind. All I wanna do is find a way back into love. Dun, 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 dun. I haven't watched that movie for, I don't know, maybe like 3 years. I think that's a really funny movie. I really liked that movie in the year 2007. Okay, if you haven't seen the movie Music and Lyrics, it's from the early 2000s. It's one of them classic rom-coms with, you know, the A-list celebrities that we know and love. And there's a character in that movie. Her name's Cora Corman, and she's like the oversexed pop star girl, and has a song called Buddha's Delight. And I really liked that song when I was 13. Anyway, in fact, all of Cora Corman's music when I was 13. But anyway, I haven't seen that movie for a long time, and that song popped into my head the other day, and I was singing it. So that's my song Synchronicity. I had some other ones too. And just in general, I know I said this recently around, in my most recent reading video, I said I don't communicate as much about the synchronistic events in my life anymore because they're nonstop. And that's true, but the scale of magnitude around like how crazy they are or how coincidental they are, that does fluctuate. And right now, they're crazy. They're so crazy. They're so crazy. You know, like things that don't repeat a lot, you know, like the word hobbit. That's not a word I hear or use every day. It's not like the word then. Hobbit has appeared 3 times for me today. One time it was spoken to me like unusually sized doorways, okay? And somebody saying it's like a little hobbit home. And then on a street sign, Hobbit Lane, like immediately after leaving that encounter, driving past Hobbit Lane, and then hearing somebody talk about hobbits in a metaphor. So like back to back, these things. Be very on the lookout for when those things occur in your life. It could be numerological. It could be, who knows, synchronicities. I mean, the universe is, you are the only person behind your eyeballs in your body at your location, navigating the world the way that you are. So everything that you see is intended for you. And Carl Jung says synchronicities are ever present for those who have eyes to see. And it's interesting because there's no ceiling to that, right? We can't exit the 3D world. We just start to spin in a different kind of alignment with the energy that governs the 3D world, you know? Like if we it's crazy because I think about synchronicities increasing to the point where everything's just like the same and the world just dissolves and we cease to exist and we're all just bathed in divine light and have no body. We're all one collective consciousness. All right, well, I have to go do something, so I'm gonna go, but I hope that there was some value in this video and it wasn't just me talking to myself for no reason. And I hope that everybody's doing well. And I'm very excited. You know what I recorded this morning and I never posted it? No, I didn't post it. It was a card short, so I will post that because it was a mystery mini, so I don't even know what the cards are. I don't know what the energy of the reading is yet. When I post those shorts, I narrate them with the voiceover and I like read the cards for the first time. And I really like it because I think it's pretty fun. Like, I find it to be fun to try to do like what newscasters do with a teleprompter and get all the information in. And it's like a test to my challenge. It's a challenge to my channeling as well, about like how quickly I can process my information. So I find it fun, the shorts. But tomorrow, I'll post the short from this morning, but tomorrow the reading is going to be really good. I know that it is. I can feel it. So yeah, I'll post that. Have a great day.